Somewhere right now, there is a criminal looking at a company exactly the way you and I look at a menu. He's not interested in everything. Most of what that company holds is, to him, garbage. Lunch schedules, the all hands slide deck, Brenda's 17 drafts into the same email. He doesn't want any of it. He's scanning for the few specific things that convert into money, leverage, or both. He knows precisely what he's hunting for. The tragedy is that most of the companies he's hunting have no idea what they're holding. Welcome back. I'm the Architect. Last episode, we established that risk is likelihood times impact, and I kept leaning on this word, impact, while staying deliberately vague about it. Today, we fix that, because you can't judge the impact of data being stolen until you understand that not all data is worth the same. Not even close. In the kingdom, the treasure isn't gold, it's data. But here's what episode 1 didn't tell you. The vault is not full of identical gold bars. It's a mess. Some of it is genuinely precious. Some of it's worthless to you, but priceless to the thief. And some of it is so dangerous to hold that the law itself comes knocking, which is a problem for another day. But mark it. So let's open the vault and actually sort the hoard. Loot tiers. Let's go from the junk to the legendary. At the bottom, the common drops. Public data. Information that is already out in the world and meant to be. Your company's address, the marketing site, press releases, your product pages if you're an e-commerce site. This data has essentially no confidentiality value, because keeping it secret was never the point. The thief who steals your public data has stolen a copy of something anyone could already walk up and read. Don't spend your defenses here. One tier up from that, internal data. Not secret exactly, but not for outsiders. Internal memos, org charts, the office floor plan, which software you run and which versions. On its own, low value. But pay attention, because this tier is the reconnaissance tier. An attacker collects this boring internal stuff to build a map. Who reports to who, so I know who to impersonate. What systems you run, so I know what weaknesses to bring. Individually worthless. Assembled, it's the blueprint for a much better attack. The kingdom's floor plan isn't treasure. It's the thing you use to find the treasure. Now we get into what they're actually here for. The rare loot. Personal data about human beings. This is the bread and butter of the entire criminal economy, and it comes with its own 3-letter labels you should know. PII, personally identifiable information. Anything that identifies a specific person, name, address, date of birth, and the crown jewel of the category, government identifiers like a social security number. Why does a criminal want it? Because it's the raw material for identity theft. With enough PII about you, I can become you, open accounts as you, take loans as you, file taxes as you. PII is stolen because it's a kit for impersonating a real human being, and there is a deep, liquid market that pays cash for it. PHI, protected health information, your medical history, diagnoses, prescriptions, insurance details. Here's the grim economics. A stolen credit card number is worth a few dollars on the criminal market and might be worth nothing tomorrow, because the moment it's reported, it's canceled. A medical record can be worth 10 times that or more. Why? Because you can't cancel your medical history. It's permanent. It's rich enough to commit serious fraud with, and it carries deep personal details that make extortion possible. You can reissue a card in 5 minutes. You can't reissue the fact of a diagnosis. Payment data. Card numbers, bank accounts, the direct lines to money. The obvious prize. The catch, for the criminal, is that it's fragile. It's the most directly valuable and the most quickly useless, because the financial system is built to detect and kill compromised cards fast. So this gets stolen in enormous bulk and sold and used quickly. A volume business, a race against the cancellation. And the legendary tier, the stuff that's priceless precisely because it's one of a kind. Credentials and intellectual property. Credentials first, because credentials are the skeleton key, and they may be the most valuable thing in your whole vault. A username and password isn't the data the way a record is. It's access. Steal a record and you have a record. Steal the right credentials and you have the door to every record. And the system can't easily tell you apart from the real employee who wants to use those credentials, because as far as it knows, you are them. We'll spend the real time on this later, but plant the flag now. The keys to the kingdom are kept in the kingdom, and attackers want the keys far more than they want the single thing that the keys unlock. Then we have intellectual property, the secret recipe, the unrealized designs, the source code, the research that cost years and millions to develop. This is the one with no fixed market price, because its value is entirely specific to who's stealing it. To a random criminal, your engineering schematics are noise. To your single direct competitor, or to a nation state running an industrial espionage program, those same files are worth more than everything else in the building combined. Which surfaces the core lesson about the whole episode. Data is not valuable in the abstract. It's valuable to someone for a reason. And you can't defend a hoard you've never sorted. This sorting has a real name. It's called data classification. And it's genuinely one of the least glamorous and most important things an organization can do. Going through what you hold and tagging it. This is public. This is internal. This is confidential. This is regulated and will summon lawyers if it leaks. Boring work. Nobody volunteers for it. And it is the bedrock everything else stands on. Because here's the punchline that ties this whole arc together. You cannot protect your most valuable data more heavily than the rest if you never identified which data is your most valuable. There's a phrase for the top of that list, the crown jewels. Every organization has a small handful of data assets that, if lost, would be a genuine catastrophe. The source code, the customer database, the credential store. The crown jewels are usually a shockingly small slice of everything you own. And smart defense isn't a thin, even smear of protection across all of it. It's identifying the few crown jewels and guarding them like the kingdom depends on it. Because it does. Now connect it back to the last episode. Risk is likelihood times impact. Data classification is how you finally make impact a real number instead of a guess. The impact of losing the public marketing site? Trivial. The impact of losing the entire customer PII database? Potentially fatal. Same verb, lost some data, wildly different risk. Entirely because the data sits in different tiers of the vault. Now, your quest objective. Look at your own digital life as a hoard and sort it into tiers. Vacation photos. Probably common, sentimental, but not dangerous. Your email. Careful. That's closer to legendary than you think, because your email is where every password reset on Earth gets sent, which quietly makes it a set of keys. Your banking login. Definitely legendary. Guarded accordingly. The exercise is simple. The instinct it builds is the entire game. Stop protecting everything the same. Find your crown jewels. Guard those. Now, we touched something today that we set aside on purpose. Some data is so sensitive that holding it isn't just risky, it's regulated. There are some laws about what you must do with it, and very real penalties when you don't. The kingdom, it turns out, has a legal code. Next time, compliance, the law of the land, why it exists, why it is absolutely not the same thing as being secure, and why nearly everyone gets the distinction wrong. I'm the architect. We'll talk soon.